Hi everybody, it's Sam Lewis here on the Shining Bright Pageant page. Once again, I've got some wonderful directors to come and tell you all about their pageants. I'm very excited. We've got the lovely Debbie Hughes and Laura White. Hi ladies!
Hi!
Now, would you like to introduce your system? Because it's new this year, isn't it? You've just started this one and the first one is coming up, so I'll let you introduce what it's called. Off you
Who's
go.
going for it, Laura?
Pardon?
Who's going for it?
Okay, well, shall I kind of give it a little bit of the history behind it, and then Debbie can kind of give you the details. She's a technical business woman,
I mean,
so she probably...
the first we would like to know is the name of it, the name and what your title. Have you got any titles yourself, actually?
Not yet. No.
But you're moving too soon, aren't you? You are moving too soon. I've seen you both entering the same competition, haven't you? That'll be so much fun. That will be so much fun.
Oh, we've got each
Whose
other.
idea was that? That was your idea, Debbie? That was your idea.
It was.
See the way she's shifting the blame straight away.
Forced her into it.
How many drinks was that after?
A few. A few drinks and a stolen Fiona out of a hotel.
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness!
Yeah, that's a whole other story.
That's a
whole other
story.
I'm not going to get into that one. That could get you in big trouble. But I know that everybody is so excited about you two competing, and I will be there. I will be watching. I'll tell you that right now. So, what made you decide to direct and create this pageant? Tell us a little bit about the history of it.
So, Debbie and I are both 80s beauty queens, aren't we, Debbie? What were you, Debbie? Miss? What were you?
Signal radio.
Fab. And it was just so much fun, wasn't it, back in the 80s?
Yeah.
And we met, what, four years ago or so, because of Heidi and Erin, Miss Team GB. We kind of met and just hit it off, and we're on the same wavelength and all of that. And we were just reminiscing about the 80s, and, you know, Debbie's competed and she was a beauty queen and I did as well. And, you know, and our daughters are doing it now. And we both had very different experiences to our experience, to our daughter's experience. It's so different now. And we just were kind of kicking around, a year ago, an idea. And we just kind of said, well, why don't let's do an 80s themed pageant, you know, just for fun, you know. Miss 80s, I can't even remember, Miss 80s or something or whatever.
Yeah. I can't remember. And we got sort of Cyndi Lauper-esque kind of logos going about. Girls just want to have fun. Miss 80s or something. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah. And we were going to have like 80s fashion and all the rest of it. And then we kind of thought, well, no, that's probably a silly idea. But then it just kind of grew, didn't it? And we thought, actually, we could combine all the fun and the frivolity of the 80s and the kind of the pageant, because they weren't even called pageants then, they were beauty competitions, and the word pageant hadn't, and just a completely different era and a different ethos. But then pageants have evolved, and our daughters' experiences are quite different to our experiences. But their experiences are fantastic too. They're just as amazing, but just a bit different. And I think pageants today offer more to girls. Yeah. So we just kind of, well, why don't we just combine, you know, all our experiences from the 80s and the ethos of that and the fun and the frivolity and all of that, but bring it right up to date. So let's just do our own, you know, and combine all the elements of the past and now. And kind of just bring it all together into one great big bang pageant, Miss Pageant Queen. I mean, you know, what an amazing name, because that's what we are.
Of course, in the 80s, you would just turn up, do the pageant, and then go. And it was just back then. But like Laura's just said, I think the combination of the two, it was so different back then to what it is now. But so what we wanted to try and do was just have a little bit of a mix of both. So girls can't just turn up on the night like you come back in the 80s. We've got a lot to prepare for, but it's not, you know, with all the charity work and the appearances, that's not a strict requirement at all, although we are raising money for charity. And we've got the girls who are already finalists going out and about and doing fundraising and appearances, even during lockdown. I can't believe they're doing it, but they are. But we want the focus really is the grand final and that event, and for the girls to come and enjoy themselves on stage, get dressed up, and not worry too much about an interview or how many appearances they've made or how much money they've raised for charity or have they got an appearance folder. We want them to come with no stresses and anything to do with anything like that, and just to come out on the stage and enjoy that, because we know that the girls enjoy that just as much as anything else, if not sometimes for us. Yeah, and we want them to just think about their outfits and the makeup and the hair and have loads of fun and just enjoy it and bring the personalities out on stage without all that extra stress. I mean, I know Heidi, and I'm sure Erin's got friends who are the same, and the big thing they worry about all day when they're in rehearsals is, oh, what time's my interview, and they just get so stressed about that. And we want girls to come and just enjoy it and not to have that feeling, that tense feeling of stress, thinking that they've got to go into an interview at any moment. So, and that's not what we're going to be doing. It's come out, enjoy yourself, let's have a real laugh, just like it was back in the 80s. And that's what we want for the pageant.
So is there no rounds at all? Is it just like, what are the rounds in the actual pageants? Do they need to do appearances? Do they need to do scrapbook? No, is it just if they want to, or is it not a requirement at all?
So there's an extra title and we've got side awards for charity and appearances and publicity. And there is an extra title which is called Pageant Queen Patron. So the scores for that title will be taken from the stage and also for any appearances, like a pageant CV, if you like. So whatever they've done in the run up to the pageant. So that will determine the results for that title. But for the main titles, the age categories, it's just on the stage. And during the day, we will have, you know, brief chats with the girls while we're in rehearsals. We'll get to know them a little bit more, but they'll come out with an opening round. There's a sponsored round where they'll model outfits from Dolls Gone Wild. They'll have the swimwear /sportswear, so as a choice completely up to contestants, whatever they want to wear, apart from the junior and the teen won't be allowed to wear swimwear, evening wear, fashion wear. So they've got a lot of opportunities to come out on stage and just express the personalities to the judges, that's what we want from it. And I'm guessing each time the girls come out, they're going to get more used to it and just enjoy it more. And we just want to see the girls' personalities reflected on the stage for the judges to see.
So would you say this would be a pageant that's for beginners as well, or would you say it's like a little bit more experienced than that?
I think
absolutely beginners.
Yeah. I think that, I mean, the girls that we've got in it's a real cross section. Girls who've not done a pageant before. We've got girls who have competed, and we've got girls who've held girls. So, you know, we've just been blown away by the amount of girls who've applied. And it's just a real cross section. I think for anybody who wants to get into pageantry, I think it's great because there isn't that pressure. And hopefully we'll convince them that this is the best hobby in the world and they can go on and do other pageants. But it's what we've always said is we want the girls to take out of this pageant exactly what they want and not to dictate to them. So, we've got a girl who's entered who's held a title or done loads and loads of pageants, and then she can take out of this pageant what she wants. If it's a beginner, she can take out of it what she wants, maybe learn the ropes, meet new people, and learn what the hobby's all about. So it's just honestly a real cross-section of girls who are getting involved with this, which is brilliant for us because, you know, we've got so many girls coming in who've never done it before, and that's you know, part of the job that I think me and Laura really enjoy is seeing girls coming on.
Yeah, you get to see them develop, don't you, and grow. I think it's really one of the good sides of pageantry. It's just the confidence building, the whole lot. So it's lovely to see people from the start go further on, and each time you see them in a pageant, they're like, I remember you in the first one, nothing like that, look at you now. You know, it's such a nice thing to see, isn't it?
It is. I've directed 3 pageants previously, and the first pageant I directed, none of the girls had ever done a pageant, ever. They were all brand new, and I think we had about 40 finalists, and not one of them had ever done a pageant before. And it was really lovely because we could teach them, you know, how to. We had a girl, honestly, she nearly gave up because she said, "There's no way I'm going to be able to walk in heels. I can't do it." And we did loads of training. She came back to me the following year to do the pageant again, and then she went on to do a few more pageants, and she's done, honestly, you would not believe the difference in this girl. For, you know, even, you know, her own confidence inside, but externally on how she's walking and how she, you know, presents herself and everything. It's just a completely different girl to who I met like 4 years ago. And she's doing our pageant now, but to see her progress, and we had girls in that pageant who've gone on to do, Christina Baker, for example, went on to do Miss Great Britain last year. Previously, did she do Galaxy, I think? No, she didn't do she did Grand, and she won Miss Grand England. She'd never done a pageant before. Heather Jordan, who's doing international, and she did Galaxy, I think, last year. So Tamir, she did mine for the first time. She went on to do Atlantic. I think she did Galaxy as well. So it's lovely to see them girls, and that'll be lovely with this one to see them come in and progress and see how they take to it. Some girls don't take to it, we know that, but you know, when you've got girls who come in and they take to it and they really enjoy it, to see them go on into different pageants and enjoy them and be successful, it's just such, honestly, it's just such a proud moment. I'm going to well up in a minute.
Laura, I bet you get to see this a lot, because I see you a lot at the grassroots pageants as well. So you see people starting, because I've seen you judging and things like that. Do you find that the pageants pick people up as well?
It's just so lovely to see girls come in. They've never done anything like that before, and they're nervous, but they get up on stage and then they really enjoy it, and you know, they really enjoy the feedback from the audience, and being clapped on stage is just lovely. And then you see them then go on to do other things. You know, there's a few girls that I've seen that I kind of judged 2-3 years ago at charity pageants, you know, in a community hall somewhere. And then they're on a bigger stage doing a bigger pageant a couple of years later, and just to see how they've just matured into wonderful young women through pageants. And my daughter has, and I know Debbie's daughter, you know, both of them, to see how they've just matured into the most wonderful young ladies, you know, through pageants and dance with you, Debbie, isn't it, as well? But, you know, just to see it gives them so much confidence and life experience and, you know, assuredness. Just gives them.
And people don't see that, do they? People don't see that. They don't see it at all. Because it's got a kind of stigma to it. People are stuck in the 70s. But I always say it's like driving a Ford Escort now to driving a Ford Escort in the 1970s. There's so much changed about it. Same car, but so much has changed.
I love that analogy, Sam. I absolutely love that analogy. It's so true, because it's so different. We were there, we saw it. It's so different now. And like you've just said, Laura, the confidence that you see with girls, I mean, and that confidence you can take into a job interview or anything that you do. The confidence to walk into a room, to make eye contact with somebody, to shake somebody's hand, and to interact with somebody. You know, the experience from the interviews. I know as such we won't be doing that kind of thing. There are girls who will do interviews who want to go for the patron title, but just that experience of interacting with people who you don't know, going into an interview situation, you don't learn that at school. They don't teach you how to go into an interview at school. And that is just part and parcel of the whole process, and the girls coming in and their growth. It's just like Laura just said, it's lovely to see, you know, how they progress, and you know, they can take those skills into other parts of life. For example,
I completely agree. I was a teacher in performing arts for 14 years in secondary school, and the school was so focused on English and maths, and I used to say, do you know what, English and maths is important, but if they can't go for a job and stand in front of people and sell themselves and perform, they're not getting the job no matter what they get in English and maths. If they can't serve customers or anything like that because they're too shy, you know, so there's a lot to be said for being on the stage and having mock interviews and everything. Pageantry just prepares them so much for life, doesn't it?
And there's also as well the social side of it, which is so important, because I've met people that I never would have met ever through pageants all over the country. Debbie, for one, never would have met Debbie, would we?
No, we wouldn't though.
And the girls meet such a broad spectrum of society at pageants that they never would, you know, in their own school or their own communities, they just wouldn't meet all these different personalities and different people, and have different conversations about things and get different ideas, you know. It just broadens people's horizons.
And do you know what else I think it does as well? Sorry, we are drifting off the topic here, but it's just such an important topic. But I think the biggest thing it gives them is resilience, because we have a millennium kind of upbringing, that cohort of people, they get everything on plates, everything's immediate, everything's expected. But if you don't win a pageant, you've got to learn to suck it up and carry on and start again. And I think there's not enough of that at the moment in the world. You know, it's success. You've got to give them success. You've got to give them success. But it makes the person, doesn't it, when you have to, right, I'm going to do this.
Yeah. So it's so true. As Laura just said, Heidi, my daughter, danced at quite a high level. She was a Latin and ballroom dancer. And she'd be competing against, you know, maybe 60 dancers through a full day of competition. And just each process of getting through to a quarter-final, a semi-final, a final, the chances of winning a dance competition are so remote. But just that progression through the competitions, knowing that you may have done a little bit better next time and a little bit better the time after. And there's only one, you know, there are only one couple who win a dance competition, and she learned exactly that through dance. But exactly the same with pageantry. It's exactly the same. Look, we all know the odds are stacked against us to win. We know that. There's only one person who can win. It's just taking on board that whole process and learning from that, and like you say, accepting it. And you're so right. People are so stuck in their own very small network now, especially with the schools being shut. You know, they're not interacting with anybody. Most kids, they're stuck on Snapchat and whatever the other one is, I don't know. But, you know, they don't get out there to meet people in different backgrounds and in different parts of the country, and, you know, different walks of life. And that's what pageantry does. You meet so many different people, and it just takes you out of that little comfort zone and that little network that you're in of just maybe a small group of people in your social circle. And pageantry just completely opens that up, and I think it's just invaluable. I mean, if it's a hobby that you enjoy and you can sort of kind of live with that, if, like you say, you know, you're not winning everything you just kind of go into, but if you can kind of accept that and enjoy the whole process, because as we know, you know, pageant, you're working 12 months before you get to that pageant final, and along the way, that process of meeting all them different people in all those walks of life for all those different things is just, it's fantastic, you know, before you even get to the final.
It's just invaluable.
Yeah, it is. And yeah, I mean, we've both been on both ends, you know. I'm pageant mums as well, and now directing, and the hope is just, you know, we get girls coming into this hobby and enjoying it and going on to other systems and enjoying it. And, you know, it can be, look at the amount of girls that we know who we remember starting as teens and now competing in Miss and going on to Ms and Mrs. And, you know, it's kind of stays with, well, it's stayed with us for decades and hopefully many more decades.
Love it.
Also,
so you're saying that your pageant is fun. It's you know which is going to be really exciting. If you could say there was an ethos for your pageant, what would it be?
Would you say, Laura?
Oh, well.
We've said it, haven't we? It's just be a better you and have fun doing it.
Yeah,
like that.
Yeah,
okay,
I think just bring it's kind of just expressing your personality. Just express your personality and be yourself.
Oh, express yourself. The Madonna song. Express yourself.
Song.
There you go. We've just invented our logo. Express yourself.
Love it.
You know, Sam, all we do is listen to absolute 80s because all of the music on the night is going to be 80s and early 90s music, and we're trying to compile a playlist.
That's impossible to do. It's impossible to do. There's too many good songs. Love it. I'm just going to come for the music then, because I love a good pop, mate. I tell you. Even if I can't dance that today, I'll be the one to be looked
behind me and Laura.
Swinging my knickers in the air. Not that I did that in the 80s, just saying.
We're going to have the whole audience up dancing, aren't we, Debbie?
Oh,
yeah, at some point.
Yeah. In fact, I think we may even just not bother putting any chairs in the room and say you're standing and dancing.
Standing room only.
No standing allowed, dancing only. Love it. So you said before that you had a charity, or that it was a charity pageant. What charity is it that you've chosen?
So we've got our own personal charities. So I'm very involved with Epilepsy Action because, as everyone knows, Erin has epilepsy, which we kept quiet for a while, but she kind of came out about two years ago, which so she does a lot for epilepsy. She was actually used in one of their national campaigns. So we're Epilepsy Action. Debbie will tell you about her own charity. So what we've said is that the girls can raise money for their own charities if they want to raise money for charity, because we think it's important that you raise money for causes that are close to your heart, because you put your heart and soul into doing things that are close to your heart, not just because it's the charity of the pageant. I feel quite strongly that you should work for things that are close to your heart, that mean something to you. So the girls can raise money for their own charities, which will be taken into account, or if they want to raise money for our kind of chosen charities, if you like, then that's amazing. But they'll do that on their own. When we're not taking charity money from any of the girls, they'll do that on their own. And then our profits from the evening will be donated to our own chosen charities.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So
well, charity, Debbie.
Yes, we'll be making a donation to our own charities.
Yeah.
And then Debbie will tell you about it.
Completely agree with what Laura's just said, and we've had this conversation a few times, and we think it's really important that if you are promoting a cause or promoting a charity and you're raising money for that charity, it's got to be something that means something to you. So we did say to the girls they could pick their own charity if that's what they wanted to do. They don't have to raise money for charity if they don't want to. And if they haven't got a charity that they support, they could support our charities. My charity is a nursery for children with preschool children with special needs, which is a few miles away from where I live. I've been an ambassador for them for almost 5 years now. So that's my charity. And so my portion of the profits will be going to the Peter Pan Centre.
Peter Pan Centre, lovely name.
Yeah. I've been, you know, it's such a great charity, and I've done quite a lot of fundraising for them in the past as well, with different things that I've done, and just going down and meeting the children, and I've got a couple of friends whose children have used the nursery for various reasons as well, and it's quite a small charity in our area, because we've got some big charities, the Donna Louise, the Cordwell Children, the Douglas Macmillan Hospice, so they're massive charities that get a lot of support. And the Peter Pan Centre get lost a little bit. So yeah, I've supported them for quite a few years now. So any of the girls who want to support that charity can do. But like Laura said, you know, I think it's really important, if you've got something that you're passionate about, you know, promote that. You know, you don't have to come and promote our charities. That's not what it's about. We want, you know, we want the girls to be passionate about their own things, their own individual things. And yeah, so those are the two charities then.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Okay, so next thing I wanted to ask you is, where is this being held?
So it's in Cheshire at a hotel called Witchwood Park Hotel and Golf Resort. It's beautiful.
I was going to say very posh.
It just had a complete overhaul as well. I think it's had 5 or 10 million, I don't know, millions spent on it. It's a gorgeous venue with a big golf course attached to it, and a spa. So yeah, so, and it's quite convenient as well. It's just off the M6, just 16. It's about 5 minutes drive from the M6. It's very central, very accessible and beautiful.
Wonderful, wonderful. That's really exciting. That'd be just to be there and be like, oh, it's the awards evening as well. You know, everybody all lined up in their dresses.
Yeah, that as well. That was Debbie. That was genius, putting the two of those together.
It was a fluke. It was a fluke, really. Because originally, it should have taken place in November last year, 2020. Obviously, with COVID, I moved it to January, and it was apparent it wasn't going to happen in January. So, and we were already putting on Miss Pageant Queen at the same venue anyway in September. So it just made sense to put it all together. You know, we just sat there one day and said, maybe we should just do them together and just get it done with. And we both went, oh, we should do it together. And yeah, so on the night between rounds, when you normally get that bit of a lull and nobody kind of knows what to do, when the girls are going off and getting changed, we're going to be presenting awards. So it's going to be all on all night.
That is awesome. That was awesome. Because I was wondering how you were going to do it. It was going to be one part and then the other part later on, or what, but to integrate the two would be brilliant.
Yeah, that's what we're going to do. Yeah.
And because the Pageant Queen theme is gold, it's just going to be the Oscars, really, isn't it?
Basically, yeah. It's the Oscars. It's the Oscars of the pageant world.
Love it. Absolutely love it. What I was going to say, the actual pageant itself then is, so it's got categories. Can you tell us what the categories are and the age ranges, if there's age ranges?
So we've got junior teen, Miss Junior Teen Pageant Queen is 12 to 14. Miss Teen Pageant Queen is 15 to 18. Miss Pageant Queen is 19 to 28. And then Ms. Pageant Queen is 28 plus. Now we haven't got a classic section as yet. But I think there's a bit of a classic revolution going on at the moment. Yeah, so if there's interest, we will have a classic pageant queen. But there's definitely a little, you know, classic thing going on there.
She's saying all the 80s thing, and you lot are doing it, and we're all like, oh yeah, yeah,
who doesn't love an 80s night as well? You know, when you see an advert for an 80s party, who doesn't love going to an 80s party? It's just brilliant.
Exactly. So what were the rounds that you've got in it? Sorry, Laura, say again.
I was going to say, I wonder if we should offer some sort of prize for the best 80s dressed audience member.
Yes, definitely.
So
Do you
is it
think?
fancy dress for the audience?
There's shoulder
Fancy
pads.
dress for the audience would be amazing.
I think we should have a prize if they want to come 80s dressed.
I think you're right, Laura.
I
Yeah.
think so. That's another Zoom call, Debbie.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, that's some inside information. Love it. Oh no, you've got to do that. That would be amazing. That would be amazing. I did a ball for my charity a few years back, and I went as Slimer. It was an 80s one. I went as Slimer from Ghostbusters, and my husband went as a Ghostbuster. You couldn't see me. I was just in this inflatable Slimer costume and just saw my head inside there somewhere. It was awesome. I loved it. You can get away with murder, but people can't tell it's you. I absolutely love it. So what rounds will there be again? Can you give us all the rounds that are involved?
Debbie?
So we'll have an opening number, but the rounds will be fashion wear, a sponsored round with a company called Dolls Gone Wild, so they'll model their outfits, sports or swimwear / and no teens or juniors in swimwear, but a choice then for the other categories. They can either wear swimwear or sportswear, and evening wear. So yeah, so that, like we said, the main titles are judged just on the stage, so those are the rounds. But if anybody wants to be considered for the patron title, then they would do an interview in the day, but it's very informal interview as well, and also submit appearances and charity work in a kind of either an appearance folder or kind of a pageant CV. So yeah, those are the rounds.
So that's for the patron, the CV and the folders. Yeah.
And, you know, for the patron, we'll take into consideration not just what the girls have done this year leading up to September, but what they've done in previous years. So we're not just taking into consideration what the girls are doing with us, you know, what they're all about, what they've done in the past. They're a real CV, like a real job interview.
And it's the whole package, isn't it? It's the whole package.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
It's somebody who will support us for the following year, support the Queens, support finalists for next year, give advice. Somebody who's a real, you know, somebody who's really shown support with the other girls, you know, can help out with events and charity work. A real, as a patron, you know, the word patron is just somebody who will support our system really and move forward with us. So, you know, it's a really, really lovely title. So, and it's taken from the whole, you know, the whole lot is, you know, from the appearances, charity work, the interview, the CV, on stage, everything that, you know, you can put that whole package together for one title, which is nice.
And is that something that each year you're going to get a new patron? Is it like a year-long title?
Yeah.
Got you. So is this pageant, is it contracted or not then?
No contract.
Wow.
No.
Wow.
Yeah.
Tell you what, you're giving a lot away then, aren't you, for a non-contracted one? Sorry, I'll come to that now. Prizes.
Lots of prizes.
Right.
So, the main #1 prize
is the drum roll.
Oh my goodness. That is a crown and a half, isn't it?
Yeah. If I could flip in this,
not seen anything like it before.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's gold with clear crystals on, and they've been made in America. And we've got 4 of them, and we've got a smaller one for our, so there's 5 in total because we've got 5 titles, but we've got one that's identical, which is a little bit smaller for the junior team because they are quite big. Yeah, it took a long time for us to find this, but me and Laura were completely and utterly on the same wavelength, weren't we, Laura, on what we were looking for out of crown, and we sent each other pictures pretty much at the same time.
It's so the same.
Yeah, of almost identical crowns. I was looking, Laura was looking, and I sent her a message and I said, what about this? As I sent it, she sent me one back and said, what about this? And they were almost identical. And I was like,
oh my goodness,
it's almost the same crown.
That's crazy. Meant to be, wasn't it? Meant to be. But it is a beautiful crown.
It is, yeah. So we've got some gorgeous sashes which are packed away because they've got to go to the seamstress for some little tweaks on them. And each queen will have their own crown box, which I've got over there. I'm going to go and get it. Okay, bear with me.
It's so exciting. It's so exciting. So it's not contracted, and we're on the crowns. Does the patron get one of those crowns as well?
Yep.
Oh,
yep.
wow.
So they will each have their own crown box.
Oh my goodness me.
Yeah, from Prestige Crown Cases. There's
That's
another
gold lining.
So each of the girls will have a crown box made for them from Prestige Crown Cases. They get a lovely white silk sash, which it isn't just printed, it's embroidered with gold embroidery with crystals on the sashes and phone pockets, Laura. Phone pockets.
Yes, phone pockets.
Get lost.
We will do
We think of everything.
We'll do a Queen's photo shoot with Charlotte Clemmy. They'll get a makeover with the Glam Squad. We'll be going to Alton Towers for a day out.
Oh, yeah.
They get branded apparel.
Hang on.
Just so happens I'm wearing one now.
You get branded apparel.
Yeah, I love it.
We'll an outfit from Dolls Gone Wild. We'll be giving them an outfit.
Wow.
The day after the pageant, they will be picked up in a limousine with lavish limousines. Yep. They'll be taken for a drive around Cheshire and then back to the house. Yeah. What else, Laura? Well, there's just so many prizes.
They'll get a skincare package from Zelen Life Skincare, which is vegan, organic, all natural skincare, which is amazing, and I'm using it. Okay.
Love
They
it.
they'll get perfume bundle. So just loads of prizes, lovely prizes.
Spoiling them are there. One truly spoiling them.
Yeah.
Love it.
Sorry,
go on.
That was the aim, to spoil the girls once they've won.
Yeah, I think you already have, and it's miles away yet. So no YouTube. Like,
I know.
Get this one as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God! Better take it like an extra suitcase with them.
How could I forget? They also.
I was just going to say, Debbie, come on.
They get an evening gown from me. So
yeah.
Oh my goodness, Debbie, that was the worst thing you could ever do, is forget your own prize. I love it. You're just too generous, you two.
I'm too excited.
I know. And you can see it in the pair of you. You've got such a passion for it, and your energy is so high. But you're making me go giddy just talking about it. And I don't even
It's because Debbie and I have both competed in the past. We've got all that experience and all that inside us. And then we've been through the whole journey with both of our girls, haven't we? You know, we've just been through all of that. So we've been through all of that with them. So we've got all of that experience. And we're both competing as well. So we've kind of just got the whole shebang of everything. And it's just all the things, all our experiences. And we're saying, oh, we could do this and we could do that. And wouldn't it be great if we did that? And it's just kind of, that's how it's all evolved, really. It's just from all of that it's gone on with us, because we've been through everything. And all the way along, you pick up things, don't you? And, you know, you say, oh, if only they'd done it like that. And we're going to say, right, well, that's how we're going to do it.
We're going to do it like that, yeah. It's meant to be,
you know, that, you know, we've got all of this going around in our heads, and it's all coming out in this, because it's just everything that we think is amazing, and let's just do it.
And we think of something, and then we'll message each other and say, oh, we've got to do that, we've got to do that, we've got to do that, and that's it. The next minute we're doing that. It's just,
and I was like, let's take them to Alton Towers, just because I want to go to Alton Towers for the day. Let's go to Alton Towers. Yeah, okay. So let's do that.
You two have gotten an accountant who are keeping control of you two. All these things you're giving these girls. Let's do that, let's do that. Yes. You've got to have the money to do it, you know.
Debbie's the boss. Aren't you, Debbie?
Love it.
For the boss. Debbie's got a spreadsheet, so she's in full control.
So it's all Debbie's fault if it goes wrong.
Everything. I've got a spreadsheet for absolutely everything. It's all written.
She's so organised. Every time I say, can we afford that? Can we do this? Can we do that? She says, I'll put it on the spreadsheet. It's fine.
It's on the spreadsheet too. Yeah, we've got, you know, for the event, the venue is so lovely. It's got a built-in stage, but it wasn't big enough for me. So I've got an events company who's coming in to build the stage even bigger and put a massive catwalk in the middle of the room. They're also going to be doing lighting and sound and little extras, which I won't say, but I just said to them, I want this room to look spectacular. What can you do? What can you do for me to make this room spectacular? I said, I want the stage bigger. I want the catwalk bigger. I want lights on the stage. I want this and I want that. And then the lady at the events company, she's like, okay, yeah. What do you want on the phone? Is there any chance you could just do this for me? Okay.
Oh my goodness. Do you know what? I'm completely with you on that. Go big or go home. That's what I say.
Absolutely.
You know, it's all or nothing. It's all or nothing.
The first pageant I directed was, like I said, it was about 4 years ago. And I only meant to do it as a little pageant, just to raise some money for charity. It was just for charity. And a friend of mine saw that I was doing it on Facebook, and I didn't realise she'd actually started working for an events company. And she sent me a message and said, who's doing your event? And I was like, I don't even know where I'm doing it, to be honest with you. It's going to be in a village hall and I don't really know. And she said, let me come down and see it. So she came down and she said, what are your plans? I said, well, I don't know. It's just going to be a pageant. Just going to raise some money for charity, blah, 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 blah. And she went, Deb, have you ever heard the saying, go big or go home? And I said, well, yeah. And she said, which is it going to be? Do you want to go big or do you want to go home? And I said, well, I don't want to go home. And she was like, well, you need to go big then, don't you? So she put this plan of action in place, staging, lighting, sound, you know, all the kit and caboodle, all the drama, all the bells and whistles. And she was like, if you want to do it and you want to do it like this, do it. And honestly, if you saw the photographs, it was just such an incredible night. And that's my kind of starting point from organising an event and a pageant in particular. And it's kind of just gone on from there. And every year that I've done one, it's been bigger and better with more bells and whistles. And that's the point I'm at now. I just more bells and whistles. It's just like, I need to do more. It's got to be epic.
5 years time, it'll be Blackpool.
Honestly, we'll be at the Royal Albert Hall next year, Laura.
My goodness, it's crazy. So, you know, when you do your pageant, and they're getting loads of opportunities if they win, and they're getting opportunities beforehand because they can go and raise money for charity. I think, is there anything that they get afterwards? Is there anything kind of like in the lineup you've got plans for them for your queens for the year? It is quite far away to think. You've got enough on your plate at the moment, haven't you?
You know, I think both of us, both myself and Laura, go to so many events and do so many things that the opportunities are already there in place. We just do so much. So whatever we do, our queens can come and do with us. So, you know, we go to so many events, you know, and wherever we go, you know, we'll say to girls, do you want to come with us? This is where we're going. This is what we're doing. Laura does a lot of judging. I don't particularly like judging, I'm afraid. But, you know, the opportunities to maybe go with Laura to judge pageants and different events, and, you know, there'll be press, so we'll want to do radio interviews. And
Girls will be modelling Kate, won't they?
Yeah, so I do a few fashion shows every year with my business, and also with Kiss Me Kate, one of my designers. So I'll get the girls modelling my gowns. We'll do Dolls Gone Wild are looking for ambassadors, so the girls can become ambassadors for Hannah Murtaugh, who runs Dolls Gone Wild. And just, yeah, the whole 12 months of, you know, we've always said, you know, the girls can take whatever they want from this. If they want to win that crown and put it away and not do anything, as much as we would be brokenhearted, that's the way it's going to be. That's the way it's going to be. But, you know, we would want to take these girls out and do just loads of things and do some charity events and, you know, do lots of publicity. We want to do publicity because we want to do this pageant again next year. So we want to do a lot of publicity. So if there's the opening of an envelope, we will be there.
I like it. That's brilliant. I'm going to ask you a really hard question now. Are you ready for this one? If you could name one thing that is your favourite thing about this pageant, what would it be?
About our pageant?
About your pageant. One favourite thing. I know there's going to be loads.
No, and there's going to be one word and we'll say it together. And I don't know if we'll say it together, Laura, but 1, 2, 3, fun.
Fun!
Love it. Yeah, because a lot of pageants are very serious, aren't they? People get nervous and they get stressed, and this just sounds like it's just one big laugh.
Basically.
And you know, now that I know it's a charity one, that either way I can enter it now, can't I?
It's not contracted.
As long as
I didn't know that at all. So now.
Yeah, as long as the director of the pageant that you're in is happy with that, because obviously, you know, we're very aware that there are a lot of pageant sort of ethics, and, you know, there's a code of ethics about poaching competitors and all that kind of thing, and we're not, you know, we're just not into any of that at all. We're completely above board, straight, you know, with as long as the directors of the other pageants are quite happy for their girls to come along and do ours, we're happy.
And you know, we've got one of the finalists, and she is involved with another pageant. In fact, a few of them are actually. When she entered, before I even replied to it, I messaged the director. And she just straight away, she said, I can't believe you've messaged me. She says, that honestly, she can't believe it. That just shows how ethical you are.
Yeah.
But no, we're absolutely fine with her being involved with you. And I said, well, I don't want to step on anybody's toes. We don't want to ruffle anybody's feathers up. You know, if girls want to enter and they are involved in another pageant, all we ask is they have directors, and then we'll speak to.
It's like. Yeah, and it's like Debbie and I, you know, we are competing in another pageant while directing our own pageant. You know, and I think that's fantastic, because it just gives a whole other level to Debbie and I's experience, because we're not just directors, we're also finalists, so we know where our finalists come from.
And we both contacted Gemma and Kate and said, you know, this is what we want to do. Do you have any, you know, are there any issues surrounding it? And they were fantastic, weren't they, Laura? Oh my God, no, we love it. Just fantastic. You know, really good luck with it. And, you know, if you need any help, and, you know, they were absolutely brilliant. And actually, you know, I think it's just so amazing that, you know, fellow directors will support you like that. It's just absolutely brilliant.
Absolutely.
Completely
because it gives something.
Yeah,
it gives something to both pageants, because we're promoting classic Miss Great Britain, but we're also promoting pageant queen at the same time. So it's kind of a double whammy. So both pageants get equal airplay, don't they, from us, and equal enthusiasm.
And I think,
there's no conflict of interest at all, is there?
No.
None at all.
No, absolutely not. And, like, if you were to take a sport, for example, football, you've got hundreds and hundreds of football clubs in the country, but one football club can't play by themselves. They can't. They've got to have other football clubs who probably have academies and bring those footballers on so that they can then go into the Premier League, for example, and play against other football clubs. So, and pageantry is exactly the same. You can't just have one pageant because you need people.
Get teams.
Yeah, and you just need people to progress, and that's hopefully what we can do for girls, especially the girls who are coming in who are completely new to pageantry, is they can come onto our academy, if you like, and just learn the ropes.
Yes. That's brilliant.
Yeah, it's just,
and because now somebody coming into us who's never done a pageant before, they'll be mixing with girls who've done an array of other pageants.
Absolutely.
We've got, so they'll be talking to other girls that have been involved with other systems.
Yeah.
And then they can be thinking, right, well, after this, I might want to do this one again because it's amazing. But actually, there's another system that might just be, slight, because they're all different. They all offer something different. And, you've got to be right for the pageant's got to be right for you. And because there are so many different ones, you've got to find the one that's right for you.
And that is exactly why I'm doing these interviews, because they are so different. And when I came into pageants 4 years ago, I just knew there was a pageant, and I just went for the first one that was coming up. Didn't know anything about it. It was Miss British Empire down south. Didn't know anything about them at all. But it's taken me a few pageants to find one that I'm happy with. It cost me a lot of money.
But it's got to be the right directors. It's got to be the right pageant ethos. Exactly. It's got to be the right final. It's got to be some girls want to go on to international. Some girls aren't interested. That doesn't interest me. It didn't really. It doesn't interest some people. They're not interested.
Yeah,
that's why I just put all these interviews together, because these are all on my YouTube channel, and I've got loads of different directors to tell us about their systems, about their categories, about what's involved. So people can actually go through them and find one that way without having to spend a fortune to find one that actually works for them.
Absolutely. So like a menu.
Yes. Take your menu. If you know any other directors who haven't spoken to me, get them to get this interview done with them. I've messaged as many as know, but they've all not got back to me. I've got quite a few, but not all of them. But maybe after this one, they'll go, I want a piece of that. That's awesome. Right, next question. The pros and cons of being a director. Give me 4 pros.
For me, the pros are seeing girls develop. Somebody once said to me a few years ago, what do you do it for? Because you don't make any money, let's face it. Unless you've got, massive pageants. There's no money in it, let's face it. And somebody once said to me, what do you do it for? And I said, I do it for the girls. And honestly, like my first pageant that I did with the girls, we used to go to a school locally and do catwalk training. And we also did like interview training so that, they could be a little bit more confident on the stage. And watching the girls progress, doing that is just, for me personally, I love to see that. That is a massive pro for me. Another pro is raising money for the charity, because although it's not a charity pageant, we will be raising awareness, which is really important for the charities, and funds for the pageants. Just for us personally, the social side for us is just something else to do, something else to enjoy, and meeting new people for us as well. And so you know, there are way more pros than cons. The cons are it's just very time consuming and exhausting, but I can't see any more cons than the fact that it's completely exhausting. But it's just the whole, for some girls, I can give you clear examples, but I wouldn't do on here because other people are going to watch this, but I could give you some clear examples of girls who've been involved with my pageants, and it's life-changing. It has completely changed their lives. And for me, I still have a girl who messages me about different things, and the changes in that girl over the 4 years that I've known her are you wouldn't recognize her. She is unbelievable. She spent time in hospital. I'm not going to go into it, but you know, just seeing the difference it makes to girls, for me, is the biggest part of it.
For sure. Would you say the same, Laura?
I totally echo what Debbie's just said. All of it, just all of it. And as well, I think it's just so nice to be able to do a pageant and an event exactly how you want it to be done. You can just put into it your whole personality and all your ideas and everything that you think's amazing about pageants. And you know, when I've sat watching pageants and judging and all of that, and you've got a little tick list going in your head, haven't you, Debbie, saying, oh, they should have done this, or they should have done that, or why did they do it like that? And now we can put all that into action and just to do it the way that we want to do it, just to have that opportunity to just do it. It's just amazing. And it's nice as well because we've got our girls are kind of co-directors as well, so they're kind of giving us their input, and it's so nice to still, because neither of our girls are competing anymore at the moment, but it's just so nice to work with them, you know. It's just kind of just hanging on to my girl. Aren't we, Debbie?
Yeah, it is. And
just, you know, to have that.
It's like with me,
still be involved in that.
Yeah, with me and Heidi, we've spent so many years travelling around the country where they're doing dance competitions. You know, on any one given week, she'd be in Wales one night, in Oldham the next night, and at a competition in Plymouth at the weekend. We've spent so many years, she's competed in dance, and then for 3 years she did Miss Teen Great Britain, travelling all over the country in appearances. All of a sudden, really, for both of us, that's kind of stopped. Erin's at university, Heidi started working, she's not competing anymore, and all of a sudden that sort of friendship, that bond that you've got, and we've spoke about it quite a few times, Laura and I, that it's just a little bit sad, really. So when we implement our figures for the pageant, it's just our way of keeping them, really.
Love it. So your new pageant baby, isn't it? Your new pageant baby, you're going to grow this one up now through pageants as well. Lovely.
Yeah. I go to bed thinking about different things, and then I wake up thinking, no, I'm going to do that different. And I'm thinking, I must have slept all night thinking about this. I must have done.
At least you're sleeping. That's one thing. Some people can't even get to sleep because their mind's like this.
I think I did. I think I just sit up all night.
We just keep pinging messages, don't we?
Sorry?
We just keep pinging random messages back and forth, don't we? What about this? Can we do that? Oh my God, we should do this. Let's do that, don't we?
And any time between the hours of 9 and 5, when I'm actually in my day job working, the responses come in caps, because I'm usually doing documents at work in caps, and Laura will say, "Stop shouting at me."
Oh my goodness. So have you got any advice for your... Sorry, say again.
It's all day, it never ends. I am at work, I'm supposed to be doing my day job, and all I'm doing is thinking about different ideas and typing up quick before.
It's got you, hasn't it? It's your passion. It's good to have something like that, though. Put that excitement back in your life as well. So have you got any advice for any of your contestants? If you had contestants, what advice would you give them? As in, like, how to do well in a pageant? What advice would you give as a director to your contestants?
I think it's an old cliche, and I heard it when...
I know what you're going to say.
You know what I'm going to say?
I know what you're going to say.
You just be yourself. It's just, you've just got to be yourself and enjoy what you're doing, and that will come across. Honestly, it just does. You know, some people can say, well, you can't see somebody's personality just by being on stage. You can. You within a couple of seconds you can see somebody's personality, and I think just to be yourself. It's no point pretending to be somebody you're not. You've just got to be who you are, and if the judges sort of love that about you and buy into you as you yourself, that's important, because you don't want to win a title and then all of a sudden you're somebody else. You've just got to be yourself, and that's it.
No, that's brilliant advice. Would you say?
Well, and also, I just don't take it too seriously.
Yeah.
Just enjoy it. Don't get stressed about anything. Just enjoy it. Don't take it too seriously. And as Debbie said earlier, you know, there will only be one winner in each section. Yeah. And that's amazing. But just because you don't win doesn't mean you haven't had an amazing time and you haven't, you know, won something.
Yeah.
And I think every pageant you do, don't you? You win in every pageant you do because you develop every single time you develop. And just because because you didn't win doesn't mean that you were rubbish. It just means someone was slightly better.
And I think not even that somebody was better. I think you know, it's like, you can't compare it to a sport. Let's say you're running the 100 meters. You've got to cross that line before everybody else, and that's not in dispute at all. With a pageant, it's somebody's opinion. It's a panel of judges, and it's their opinion. And whether that's right or wrong, that is somebody's opinion. That's not, you know, as definitive as crossing a line doing a 100 meters race. It's just not the same. I used to say the same thing to Heidi when she was dancing. It's you know, you've got 6 judges around a dance floor, and it's their opinion. It doesn't mean that you're not good enough. You just not their opinion on that day. So, you know,
you could have the same contestants, the same show, different set of judges, different night. Somebody different would win.
Yeah, completely. And it's just, and like Laura's just said, don't take it too seriously. Enjoy it for what it is. Make the friends. Enjoy being up on that stage and enjoying what you're doing. And if you win, it's a bonus. It's not the be all and end all. Okay, you know, it's lovely to win something, but it really isn't the be all and end all. And the odds are stacked against everybody in a pageant. There's only one winner. It's not, you know, there are 10 winners out there. One winner. Well, actually, there are more than one winner, but you know, but yeah, it's just enjoy it. Just enjoy it for what it is, and you know, and you make so many friends and open so many doors. You know, when I did Miss Signal Radio, and I'm going back forever and a day, and I didn't win the main title, but I did a radio interview with a lovely guy called Mel Scholes, but he's since died. But anyway, I did a radio interview with him, and I won part of the title, which was called Miss Personality, and I went on to work for Signal Radio through that radio interview, and that gave me, I worked for them for 10 years, and that gave me so many opportunities and so many people. But that year I didn't win the main title. So enjoy doing it, enjoy meeting the people that you're going to meet, because there could be opportunities out there that you have no idea now what could exist. And it could open so many doors for you. It's not necessarily putting that crown on your head. It could be a whole host of opportunities that you've got available to you. So just enjoy it. Just be yourself. Don't take it too seriously. For hours, we'll be rehearsing for hours and hours during the day. So we've got girls who've never done a pageant before. We'll show them how to walk on the stage. We'll show them exactly what they've got to do. They haven't got to worry about anything at all. By the time the show starts that night, they'll know exactly where they should be, how they should walk, what they should do, and you know. But yeah, just enjoy yourself.
If it hadn't been for COVID, we were having a get together planned, didn't we?
Yeah.
So hope maybe if we can all have a big get together beforehand and do a bit of training, and catwalk walking, have fun and meet up and all of that.
My gym, the gym where I go, has got a massive, massive dance studio with mirrors all over the place. It's got a great floor, and I've done catwalk training in there previously for the pageant. So we were going to go down there and do loads of catwalk training. I mean, just how much fun is that? You know, I get girls come to me for dresses who don't know anything about pageants, and they'll say, "Do you ever need a model?" And I'll go, "Oh, I do catwalk training if you fancy it." They wouldn't even have an idea. Yeah, and they're like, "Oh, yeah, I'll do that." So just doing that alone is just a great day out and a great opportunity. Just, I could do catwalk training. Yeah.
Love it. So if anybody wants to enter this pageant, how do they go about doing it? It sounds amazing. I'm sure there'll be loads of people watching this to go, just tell me how to enter. No, that's me.
Okay, you ready, Debbie?
Go on.
You ready, Debbie?
Yeah.
www.thispageantqueen.co.uk.
That really didn't work. Right, why don't you say it for me? But I've got 8 W's in it.
Miss Pageant Queen.
www.misspageantqueen.co.uk.
There you go.
That's all on,
there you go.
all on there. It's a fabulous website. It's all on the website.
And how much is it to enter?
100 Queen's English pounds. That's it.
Yes.
Just 100. Oh my God.
And hang on a minute, Laura, something I've forgotten.
Oh.
All those prizes as well. And it's 100 quid. Sorry, 100 pounds.
So if you want to enter, you can pay £30 to enter. Hang on 1 second.
Sounds intriguing.
You can pay £30 to enter. Yeah. And you can pay the £70 balance anytime up to 1 month before the final. And if you pay your £30, you will get a gold tiara.
Oh my goodness.
Look at that. How special. How special is that?
Just for entering. Oh, this is mental.
T-shirt, a logo T-shirt, which they're over there somewhere, and a lovely tote bag.
I've got one on.
Oh, there you go.
Look.
For entering.
Correct.
What is wrong with you two?
Because we just love it. What can I say?
Oh, it's amazing.
Our finally with going round.
Just want it off.
So our finally a tripping about in a gold sash, a gold tiara, white t-shirts, and a little tote bag, all for £30. Hello.
That is mental. That is mental. That is mental. Right. I will be in touch tomorrow. I might have to use my phone now to get my money out. That is awesome. That is absolutely awesome. Oh, thank you so much for explaining that to us all. I mean, it was a long one, but we've had an natter as well. Thank you so much for coming on and doing that for us. And I hope that's really helped everybody who's watched. All right. Right, okay, so thank you very much for joining us, and I shall see you all on the next video, hopefully.
Yeah.
Let's say bye-bye.